Hi, I'm Lynne with Softsquares. Today I'm going to do block 11 for the Daydream quilt with the Silver Jubilee Fabric by Maywood, which comes from Annie's Kit Club. And this is the block that I'll be making for you today. It's block 11. There's 12 total, and then we'll be working on the finishing kit. But this is the quilt, and I have videos on the previous blocks. So if you are making this and you haven't gone through those, go find those. They all have the same looking thumbnail. But today we're doing block 11, which is called Odd Fellows Chain. I don't know if you can see that up there. All right, so I have already cut out all of my pieces. I've got them labeled. Now it's just a matter of following the instructions and building my block. Because this is not my pattern and it is something you need to sign up for through Annie's Kit Club, I can give you instructions on how to put it together and show you how I'm doing it, but I can't give you any measurements. But I will put the link below where you can go to sign up for this if this is something you're interested in. So let's get to it. So I've marked all of my pieces how they told me to. This says mark a diagonal line on block A and then pair it with block B, this one, and make half square triangles, stitching 1/4 inch on both sides of the line. And I like to use an iron and crease my line, but I have to make sure I'm doing this on the right side because the white is actually a print. I don't know if you can see that. It's really tiny, but it does have a right and a wrong side. So what I want to do is it's going to go face down, so I want to put the crease, put this over here, wrong sides together. What am I doing? I don't even want that there. The reason I do it this way is because we are going to pair these up, and then I'm going to sew using that line, and it's easier to sew on or around a valley than it is a peak, and I'll show you what I mean. So here's the block it's supposed to be paired with. I put both of the right sides together like it says, and then I sew a 1/2 inch on each side of that. It's a lot easier to make your 1/4 inch foot follow that line than it is if it had to follow this. And especially if you have to sew on that line, which in this case we don't. So that's why I did that. So I'm going to pair all of these up, and I don't need my little number systems. I'm going to get everything together so I can take as many things to the machine at once as possible. I'm sure I will have some others, you know, back and forth, but we're going to do several blocks right now. If you hear thumping, it's because the grandkids are having fun in the other room. Okay, so we have those. Again, I'm going to be stitching 1/4 inch on both sides of that folded line. So I'm going to have 8 half square triangles when I'm done with that. Now, it's telling me after I've done that, then they're going to go in a certain configuration, which I'm not going to worry about right now. I'm going to move on to the next step. It says to take C and D. Now C and D both have 2 different colorways, but they're labeled or the same. Mark a diagonal line on the wrong side of the D square. So that means all of these, and they're paired, so that won't work just yet. And on this one, I actually will be stitching where the fold goes. You don't have to fold these, you can iron them. Or, sorry, you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can use a pencil, but you would draw on the wrong side so that you can see it, because you're going to put it face down on the other block. I'm going to be pairing these two up, which means these are going to go here. My A and B blocks have been paired, sewn, cut apart, and pressed. And I pressed to the dark side. You saw how I did that. Now I'm going to get my square tool and make them all 2.5 inch squares. I'm trimming those dog ears off. Okay, now it's time to put this other corner on. Now before I go over to sew these, I get to sew something with these. Okay. So we're making corner units. We're making this corner right here, the blue A. Okay, so we are doing units like this. With this here and this here. Making sure I got that going the right direction. And then I will pick these up. Now to keep myself straight when I go to the machine, I know that where my head of the pin is the side I'm sewing on. So I won't just get to the machine and go, okay, which way does this block go? I know I'm sewing over here, because that's where the head of my needle is. That's just what works for me. So we're going to make 3 sets or 4 sets of these. And the trick is if you sew them like this together in sets, it'll make the next step a lot easier. So we'll see if we can do that. So I know if I stack them like this, this tells me this is the first block I'm picking up, this is the second block, and I'm sewing on the right side. And then when I am done, you'll see. It's like magic. Okay, here's my little pile of these guys. So pick up this one, send it through first. Easier said than done. There we go. And then this one. And make sets that look just like that. And so I'm picking up this one. Let me show you what's happening. So these are the first two blocks I did. When I open them up, they're exactly where they need to be with just that one little thread in between. So it'll make sewing them into blocks a lot easier. In fact, I'm going to do that step while I am over here because I can finger press. So if I cut between every other one, I get that little set. Okay, so I've got all my little pairs of two here. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to finger press it to the block that does not have a seam in it. In this case, it's the lighter blocks on both sides. The reason is because this seam right here will make it a little thicker and it'll lay flatter and it'll be consistent on all of them. So all there is that one little thread between it, but really all I have to do now is fold them over, nest my seams, and all four of these sets were kept together, so they're super easy to pick up and finish right now. And then see, they're all attached. So there are those blocks. So now it says to take the eye triangles. So taking these and then doing this on both sides. That white fabric. One side at a time because this is so hard to see. I'm gonna go sew those. And then these will go on the other corner, and then these will go on the bottom. And I might be able to do that at the machine while I'm over there. So I'm gonna jump to another step right now though. I'm going to build the center block, which is this. Okay, and it uses these pieces on them. So I'm going to sew across here and sew across here. I'm going to pin them And then my very center block will be done, this part right here. And then I can add the other blocks to it. I feel like I would have accomplished something. Again, I know where I'm sewing is at the end where the head of my pin is, in case I get turned around. Okay. So I got those two things I can take over, and I think that's enough for now. So here's my center block, and the way I had done it, everything's like in the right order, except somehow I completely missed it over here. Wow, let's fix that. Okay, so now I can just put my squares together. Finger pressing, of course. Did it. I'm going to press it so it looks pretty. You could press it as you go along. There you go. Some of my blocks were not super square, but we just eased it in and you don't even know. All right, now I got it right. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to finger press these open like this. Actually, I want to press it this way so that I have this. Okay, so press these open. Okay, so now we're going to add this to this. And to do that, we need to find the center of here and line it up with the center of that. The easiest way to do that is to make a finger press. So fold it in half. Be careful not to stretch it because it's on the bias, but there's my center. Line it up with the center here. Let's see, right there. Let's pin it. And then evenly distribute that. Let's sew one before we get too committed. Okay, so your stitch needs to go right through that X or just slightly to the right of it to keep your point. And there is that block. I'm gonna make the others look like this, and then we'll go to the iron. Let's get these guys flat. There's a lot going on the back of these. I'm doing good with points. So far, I see a point. Yay. Even there. Could have gone one thread over. Hey, I'm happy. That works. Okay, now this is warm. Had to wait for the iron to heat up. Okay. Wasn't very good. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Got our center. We got our middles. Let's see. So really what's happening now is we have, what do we have? Oh, God. We have this is what we have. And then these are the corners. And then we have these triangles. Can you guess where they go? We're not worried about these just yet. We're going to take these over and make flying geese blocks out of a flying geese block. So I'm going to do one side at a time. Press it back. Do the other side. I don't know which side I'm doing anymore. It really doesn't matter. Okay, brain. There. I'm going to take these with me, and then I might be able to put these on, or I might have to come back and press. Oh, whoa. Let's attach this to the right side of this. Okay, so this has to go like this. So, like this. get my, oh, okay. So I'm sewing it upside down because there's a lot of bulk. I want to make sure it stays flat. And it doesn't really matter if I do the right or the left, just as long as I do one at a time. So that's what we're looking like so far. So it's going to go like this. So we can put it like this. And I'm just easing it in. Now this is going to be, oh, did it. Didn't expect it to want to do it. Okay. You are going to be here. So there it is. I want to cut some things off before I press these flat because it's easier to get to them right now. Let's see. And I chose not to square them up, but just to kind of ease them in. And some of them are more off than others. I usually do okay this way. Now we've got that. Let's press these guys open. So I finger pressed it here before I did this because that was needed. That needed to be down first. This is kind of a complicated block. Sewing flying geese inside of flying geese and sewing on the bias with lots of points. Okay, I believe we can assemble the quilt now. Let's make sure, well, let's do this. I'm just going to ease them into whatever these end up being. Okay, so I'm going to sew like I did the last one. When I did this one, let's just start at the top and work my way down. There's a lot of dog ears on here. Pin all of these. don't think there's any seams that have to be lined up other than these 4 corners, which is good. That will be much better when I'm sewing it. Okay, so as I did before, I'm going to attempt to keep it one piece. You don't have to do that, but if I sew this way across and then come back and do this way across, I'll probably have hopefully all 9 blocks. Turn it around, do it again. Just not wanting to obey. Let's see, I'll try this again. My pin helps me know, keep my orientation and everything. Check. Now I am double checking to see if my points are still going to line up. Okay. Okay, did it. Now it's a matter of doing this. I'm going to finger press. The only seams that seem to line up are those 4 corners, the big corners right here. A lot of seams underneath though, so just kind of feel for them, keep them flat. Try to keep them from lifting up. Easier said than done. Again, trying to avoid cutting off your point. Let's see, this needs to go this way. Looks good. corners off a little bit. I hope it doesn't bug me. I see it, I know it's there. Okay, I'm not going to trim it up just like all the others. Going to wait, make them all the same, but I've done it. How'd I do? Not bad. I see, because I'm looking for it. A mistake, but that looks pretty good. Gonna add it to my wall. We'll just wait for block 12, then we get to start working on the finishing kit. That's it. Let me know what you think about it. Again, you can see all my other blocks for this series. They are blocks 1 through 10 have already been done, and we're about to wrap it up. This is the Daydream Quilt. Thanks for being here. Hope to see you soon. Bye.